Hello everyone and welcome to the orientation session for JPACT, the second batch of which we're starting today. And JPACT, as most of you may be aware, is a job placement and certified training program that we have very custom built at IT Learn. So before we get into discussion about JPACT and the ENIOT application that is where the certification is coming to all of you from, let me talk about those few points that I thought I should share with everyone. Most of you would have received that email that I sent across today. It is about those 3 steps that I believe which will take you to much faster and better success in your job hunt for software testing. Right, team? So let's talk very briefly about that and what is it that typically comes across in it. All right. So there are 3 phases for a team. That's what I see. So I'm going to divide the 3 phases into 3 easy steps for each of them. Talk about that for about 10 minutes and then we'll continue from there. Okay. The first one, let's call that as A, is to getting ready for the job. Very critical, team. How do we get ready so that we are going into the job market with specific area of focus? And irrespective of the industry, irrespective of the technology that you use, the most primary important thing is your skill. So when we talk about skill, there are multiple things that come to it. It could be a domain functional knowledge. It could be a process knowledge. It could be a tool knowledge. And this becomes very, very critical, team. The second comes doing a project. Why? The employers who are seeking out for the right candidates would like to know that this particular individual has worked on it, has got enough hands-on experience on it. And how did they build it on a real-time environment? And have they faced the challenges and learning that come through any of this project execution? So the project work is also extremely important. The third one, which a lot of people forget to really focus too much, is the profile. When I say profile, I'm talking about your CV or your resume. We don't prepare a powerful one. We go very weak on that and try and put minimal things hoping that someone will find it. It is almost like a needle in a haystack, team. Very simple story. The other day I was talking to one of a very experienced QA professional with about 13 years experience who's done about most of the experience as QA professional in the United States, who's right now number 6 months gap. And this individual has not been getting any calls. So they have the skill, they have the great project experience and so on, but they're not getting any calls. When I saw the profile, when I saw the resume, I realized that, oh man, something's really wrong here. There's nothing that is so strong there, team. And that is the reason I did that free session about 2 weeks back on how we can get QA job quickly. I'll request any of my team members to send me a chat message with the link who are on the session so I can put it up here and you can take a look. So these 3 phases are very, very important, team. If you don't have the right skill, if you don't have a real-time project experience to show, and if you don't have a strong profile, you can't really get into the next stage. And we'll talk about all of these as we go along. The next phase is primarily getting there. How do you get the job? How do we focus in terms of making sure that we finally get the job? You've got the skill, you've got the project, you've got the profile. If we don't do the other necessary steps, then it's going to be a big challenge, team. So here is the link for it. I'll also put it in the chat. You should all watch these videos. 2 hours, 2.5 hours of absolutely free content from our side. We've covered the complete area of how you can successfully get to the interview and face it. So the first thing, team, when we talk about getting there is market or marketing. You need to market your profile, your CV, your social networks. You need to show that you are connected in a professional level with a lot of similar peer or colleagues in that industry, and you have been there in that specific expertise field for whatever given period you've been working. You have to start putting them into job boards, various job boards. How do we do it? What are the right methodologies to that? All that information again we've covered in these two videos, the link for which we've shared. The second one is to attend. When I say attend, it is a very simple verb or adverb, if you can put it. You need to get to the telephonic round. You need to get to the in-person interview. You need to be able to close those successfully. How do you do the interviews? Be it over the telephone, be it over the in-person, and so on. In this specific area, what happens, team, is a lot of times we forget to realize that the people who are interviewing us are coming from different areas. There could be someone from a HR side, there could be someone from a management side, there is someone from a technology side, there is someone who's your competitor sitting, who's scared that, oops, if this person comes in, my job is in trouble. So you need to be mentally prepared for that, know who is who and how you're going to talk to them. Any issues with my audio or visual, team, for any one of you? Is it all okay? All good? If it's breaking sometimes, let me know again. I'll try and switch to my telephone, which will give me about 2 to 3 minutes of break in between. All right? Is it breaking? All right. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes, team, while I go and switch to my telephone. Give me a minute, please. All right, team. So let's continue. Hopefully the audio should be much better right now. So team, it's all about knowing the situation, knowing about the people you're going to meet, knowing about who's going to be present, what are their roles and priorities, and preparing ourselves to be able to attend. And the third step is to get started, team. A lot of times I've seen this challenge. There's hesitation even after we get the first job due to certain initial hurdles that we foresee. Oops, the commute is going to be too long. I don't think, I have the confidence to be working in this project. I don't believe that this is the right one for me. I can't move away from my current location. All these things keep coming up. This is where we need to lose that up and start taking up your first job. It is almost like going to university or doing your masters and so on. You need to sacrifice something on your personal end to do it. And also when we talk about start, when it comes to the salary part negotiation, you believe that this is too less for me. This is not a great start. And that's fine. You know what you were doing earlier. You know what the market pays. You know your potential there. But it depends on how badly you need that role and how do we get there. So these are the simple points, team, that it's so important for us, and you will not believe how many people ignore them. They go attend a training, they learn the skill, but they don't have project experience, and then they delay it. And by the time they get their resume ready because their confidence is not there, they've forgotten what they've learned, and the cycle continues. This will not end, team. This is a challenge. And the third one, which is very important, is staying or growing once you're there. It's a completely dynamic atmosphere, team, at the work area. There's going to be a lot of competition. You will see a lot of political discussions and challenges that come across. You will see growth challenges and how do you compete with the others. How do you
make sure to do it. And once you have the attitude in the right way, methodology to go about that, yes, I will involve, I will do it for the betterment of the project that I do, and eventually I would get recognized, I would get honored with what I do. So this becomes very important. And finally, the other most important thing is participation. So we end to participate. We look at, I've come at 9 a.m., I'll leave at 6 p.m., I've done my job, great. We're not really participating in an agile world where things are dynamic. Businesses change every day. Companies are born and dying each day. Only 3 or 4% of every startup in today's market is successful. So there's so much you need. We need people who are entrepreneurs by themselves coming and working for us. And that amount of participation is so critical. So it is just not involvement to what? We're not saying that you work for 12 hours a day. We're saying how involved are you? How serious are you about the success of the organization? And how do you make sure that you're in a constant learning curve to embrace new technology, new learning, and keep deploying it? These points, team, is something that should really get you there. So when we went back and we looked at IT Learn, we've been training since 2008. Over 20,000 students have taken training from our team, and most focused on QA, Selenium, and QTP and or UFT right now, and other testing related tools, okay, and technologies. So in this whole experience, we've just focused as a training company. We said, let's train, let's get the right skill. And then we added live project work. About 3 years back or so, we started live project. And then we said, now let's also get into the job placement, because we have a very specific niche. We don't want to go into the market and say we are a consulting company, we will do anything and everything. We want to go and say that, hey, if you want to people in specific skill set, then we are the people to go for. This is the nice place where some of the best come from the market, and this is the go-to shop when it comes to that specific field. So that is how JPACT was born. That is how we started to get into the job placement and certified training program. These are the same slides that we have done even earlier, because from the content perspective, it is the same. I will also give you an update on JPACT, the batch 1, where we are right now. And then I'll talk a little bit about ENIOT. So any questions that is there, you should be able to hold it for a little bit more, please, so we can start taking it a little towards the end. All right, team. So a few slides. I just thought I'll quickly run through them, and you'll get a fair idea of what we're trying to do. So I'll not focus too much about IT Learn. I already told you. I'm sure some of you, your first time here, but the best way to see what we do is go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/QTPElearn, and start watching some of our demo videos. You'll get a clarity as to how we teach and what we do and so on. So this is primarily what I had shown in that bulleted point. I'll briefly go through what industry is really expecting from QA professionals when it comes to testing. We need process, we need tools, you need the basics of any working office, SQL and so on, some amount of domain and function knowledge. Then you need something more specialized. This is where the key comes. This is where the key differentiator is. More popular automation tools are very critical. You need to talk about concepts and automation frameworks, because that is what the industry works on. And we need live project experience. And thanks to my other association with atomic77.com, we get a lot of applications built, web apps, mobile apps, and so on, that really requires actual testing. And we are able to provide that. That also goes as a reference to you. And a certification that hopefully industry recognizes. This is what would be an ideal portfolio team or a profile for someone who is a good fit for what's going to come in the market. So to be able to do that, we've kind of put together this whole program which talked about how do we start with going with the basics and how do we move into more advanced concepts. So to do that, we took the help of ENIOT as an application. But let me try and give you the quick idea of JPACT team, what we're trying to do there. So like I said, we want to build, the main intent is to build the right skill, profile, and experience projects to get you into the market quickly. Okay. So we start with the skill building exercise, and we go about doing the live project work. We do a lot of profile reviews. In fact, for the batch 1, we've just started doing the mock interviews earlier this week. We have another session tomorrow, and that is how we're trying to get it prepared. We're already starting to build a hot list of candidates who are primarily from JPACT and NEOT, who are ready to go into the market, and next step of marketing will start. So JPACT basically is having two streams, I would say, team. Earlier I used to call it as batch A, batch B. I want to change it to stream A and stream B. What this does is, with stream A, we start with basics and end with advanced. And this is a little longer program, 3 to 4 months. And then there is a stream B that starts straight away with somewhere between mid to advanced level. That is where we start. And this one will go for about 1.5 to 2 months. So in typically stream A, what we cover is all in the manual testing. Let me quickly pull up the website in which this information should be there. Plenty for us. All right. Here you go. So this is the event, JPACT 2016, and we've kind of put together the schedule for it. You will also find the earlier videos, demo videos, and so on out here. And right now what we're talking about is when it goes to batch A, which starts with beginners and ends with advanced, which is now stream A, we're talking about starting with manual testing, the fundamentals there, test management tools, looking at agile testing and database testing and so on. So team, I believe we also have the new link, right? Is it 2017 JPACT with the new dates? No. So there are new dates that are coming up, team, for this, and it goes into a lot of content. So it's a long process. Yes, as part of this stream, we also do Selenium training, projects, mobile app testing, NEOT, and so on. When it comes to more advanced, we focus purely in terms of Selenium training and NEOT certification. Now, stream B, which is the advanced or mid-level to advanced version, is for someone who's looking either, I think this is the right schedule. One second. Who is looking, so stream A is for absolute beginner team, all right, and who's got no tech knowledge and needs some real timing and so on, so they can take it more easy. Or someone who's already working in a different field, they have little time on hand. The stream B, when it comes to it, it will go a little bit more aggressive. It's not that we require you to have any prerequisites when it comes to learning NEOT or Selenium, but it's just the fact that it's not that the basics of manual testing and test management and so on, we go beyond it. So this is for someone who's maybe already QA engineer, or who's got some gap in between, or switching from one field in IT to QA. and so on. So this could be more apps for someone, or so someone who's looking in a little bit of hurry to seek a job quickly. So for this, here are the dates team that we're looking at. So batch A, batch B, okay. All right. So this is the one that we're talking about, NUR certified tester training, and that is starting from today, and it will go on till about it's a 1 week training. We'll talk a lot about it, what we're going to do in it. Then we're going to get into the Selenium basic level and advanced training. It's a 3 week program. We'll start with the total fundamentals. We'll go through Selenium IDE, WebDriver, core Java, JUnit, TestNG, talk about frameworks, and then get it into some live projects, and finally end with NUR certified developer. All right. So there are specific schedule that is given. The schedule is tentative in some cases. What happens is the earlier batch or earlier things which are almost back to back are going at a little slower pace because we need more time with the students. So it can change a little bit. So we're a little flexible about that. And you can look at how we're going to do it, what we're going to do in ACT in the next coming few minutes. Batch A will be starting more with communication skills training, because that is one area that we've seen a lot of us need assistance in. The way we speak, the way we talk, the way we handle through a lot of these. So communication skills training, and added one-to-one, which is already there. We're coming up with that, and there are a lot of courses in that. So we have these things running parallelly, the technical one and the personality one. When we talk about personality, we're talking about how we speak, how we talk, how we work in a corporate atmosphere, all of those things. And this will go along with the entire things covering from mobile app testing, HPUFT, will then merge into again another group of Selenium basic and advanced level. So the first batch, which we start in end of December, mid of December, the first JPACT batch. So the members who joined the slower stream A are now able to get into the Selenium training through that. And for you who's looking at this training, let me talk about the NUR application, what we're trying to do with it. Any questions before I go there, team? And I will really appreciate if the questions come onto the Facebook event itself rather than out here. In stream B, we're not focusing too much on HPUFT because we want to skill you up, prep you up into the right zone, team, where you want to be notified. I don't think many questions are coming here. Maybe I'll put the questions later out here, team. For now, let me take it on chat. You can use the Q&A section directly on the GoToWebinar. So there's a question if HPUFT is included. So when you become a member for JPACT, you are eligible to attend both stream A, stream B. You get unlimited access for everything that we do at IT Learn. It's a total package. It's a total unlimited access team. While we focus on specific topics, if you look at our website and what we do, we have a list of many courses that cover all across the software testing industry, performance testing, web services testing. We talk about the QCLM, database testing, mobile app testing, project management, PMP courses. So a lot of content is available. But instead of trying to prepare you with everything, we're preparing you with what we believe you will need. All right. Srilata, anything to do with, say, pricing of these courses? Please write directly to the team. They'll be able to help you out. Let me make one of my team members as the organizer as well. So that way they can answer some of these. Manoj is there. Okay. Now, let's talk about a little bit of NEOT team, and that's one of the reasons you're here. So I don't think you have to take a decision right away about JPACT, should it be batch 2 and so on. We'll talk a little bit about what is NEOT and what we did, why we did that. So instead of using PowerPoint, let me try and do it directly from the website. So when we started this, the website was not really ready, and so was the application was not ready. So before I go there, team, I definitely want to run one poll with you all, a question. If you can take a few seconds and just answer this. Launch. It's just a yes, no, something in between question, team. It should be on your screen right now. Are you aware of NEOT? Do you know what it is, what it does at a high level? I'm not saying that you are expert level, you have the total idea of what NEOT is. This will give me a good idea of who the audience is. Please do not put the answer in the chat. Click on the button on your screen. And I'll give you another 5 seconds, team, to complete it. We've got about 70% votes in. So I can share it with all. You can see what the audience is out here. Team, once again, your poll response goes on the screen by clicking on the option and not in the Q&A section. All right, cool. So let me quickly share the poll results, team. We've got about 75% votes in. Not manage. Where are we? Close the poll and share the results. Can you all see this results, team, on the screen? So 40% of you saying yes, we know what is NEOT. 37% of you are saying that you've heard about it, and 33%, almost 1/3 of the audience, has no idea about what NEOT is. So let me talk about it very briefly, team. What is NEOT and how we built it, and where are we today with it? Let me hide this so you can see it now. All right. So NEOT is a very, very simple and easiest way possible to get to automation using Selenium, team. We've tried to build this as a framework that enables any user to be able to quickly write and run automation test scripts without any kind of a coding knowledge or necessary changes to be done at a code level. So this application is primarily combining the whole power of Selenium with Code, Java, and TestNG. It is being built as something called as a hybrid framework, which combines many frameworks together into one application. And we've tried to make it very, very user-friendly. It has to be so simple for someone to start getting and working with it. And when the executions happen, it should give us a great HTML dashboard that can be drilled down to a defect level with a great traceability metrics and so on. So it is almost like a combination of the simplest form of test management tool along with automation embedded into it. So when I talk about this application, what it primarily does is this. Let me quickly draw a diagram. How many of you are aware what a keyword-driven framework is, or a data-driven framework, and so on in QTP or Selenium, or you'd have heard of it at least, right? So what that does, my kids have a lot of fun on my system. It's a Microsoft Surface Pro, and they love these drawings. So the stylus drawing thing on that. All right. So what it does is there is a QA engineer, all right? And this QA engineer is a manual tester. And then we have someone else who is an automation test engineer. Okay. Now, The automation test engineer goes about building a complex script using Selenium WebDriver. But the QA engineer really does not know how to work with this. And in a typical QA organization, around 70% staff belong to the manual testing, and only about 30%, rough numbers on an average team, come into automation. So the whole purpose of automation is getting defeated. So what we try to do is, how can we make automation happen and still keep it simple? So the industry moved to something called as a script-free automation and so on. And they said, let's build a keyword-driven framework where the test cases and the test scenarios or steps are written in a Microsoft Excel file. And there is a smart Java code or a C# or whatever technology we use, which we call it as a driver, that can understand what to do through that Excel, read all the scenarios that is written by manual engineer, and still be able to go to a browser and be able to perform the specific actions on it. So we try to go advanced and build this keyword-driven frameworks, and a lot of frameworks have come into place. Then there is another simpler one called data-driven. We have page object, page factory. We've got the functional decomposition, and so many frameworks. In fact, ITLM team, can you share me the link of all about automation frameworks, the free session that I did a few months back? And maybe you can put it in the chat for all of them to look at it. That will be a great video, team, for you to look at as well, to get a detailed idea. So now what's happening is, the whole purpose that putting things into an Excel file and running it onto the application. So we put information into Excel and we're trying to run it into the application under test, which we call it as AUT, right? It's fine, it's not bad, but companies have said, you know what, Excel we've been using, so on. When it comes to an Excel sheet, it can become very complex in terms of maintenance. And copying it, pasting it, a lot of manual issues can happen, while it is quick, fast, and easy to maintain. So for example, this is a sample Excel sheet with some modules, a few test cases, detailed test steps, and keywords, and a lot of things into it. All right. So this smart codes that we have written, right, in Java and Selenium, will try and understand what is done here and execute that in an application. That is primarily going from manual to automation, right? Now we said, this entire Excel which is there, why don't we create a simple web interface, which is the front end for it, so that users don't have to go and maintain things at an Excel level, but they can do it online over the cloud on the browser itself. So that is how the idea of AnyAuth started. That let's try and see how we can quickly automate any application without any knowledge for coding. So when it comes to this application, there are two parts to it. There is the web portion of AnyAuth, the UI, which also includes the Excel. And then there is the coding, which is the Selenium WebDriver, Java, and TestNG, and so on. So we said that we would like to have two sets of people who could do it. An AnyAuth certified tester, and out here an AnyAuth certified developer. And that's exactly what we show in this slide out here. So for an AnyAuth certified developer, what is it? They need to know skills of automation, WebDriver, core Java, how to create this test suite, how to customize framework at a code level, implement it, and so on. When it comes to tester, the technical aspects do not have to be that strong. It is okay. It can be medium, low, or it doesn't have to be existing also. All right. This is how we split it. And then we said, let's go about building this application. So we started, this is just the homepage team, which talks about what NEOT is, what can it do for us, and so on. And we also have the top 10 questions that is there. I will quickly go through this FAQ team. You'll get a fair idea of what it does through these 10 questions. And then I will give you a peek into the current web development that we're doing on the application. And then I'll talk about the training that we're planning to do. So I just spoke about what NEOT is. It's a hybrid software test automation framework. It's got one core idea, how to automate with ease, speed, and power. That's how we kind of went about building it. What does it stand for? Initially, I named it more like any automation, but then it can also be spoken as any application under test. Who is the ideal end user who will use it at the end? It could be manual test engineers, developers, business analysts, end users, anyone in the IT department who's working on that specific process or project. Is it like a test management tool like HP, ALM, Bugzilla, Jira, and so on? Not really a test management, but very small version, lean model of it, as simple as possible. And does this work on Windows or iOS? As of now, we're building it for Windows application. And hopefully we'll come up with an iOS version later. We want to go in a very structured manner. Anything that have to be installed to run this automation test? Yes, there will be a very small installation file that we will download and install on a local machine. What applications does it test? Web-based desktop and mobile apps. As of this version, we are focused on web. We would like to add the mobile apps soon. Desktop application, Selenium really does not cater to, so that we won't be able to touch. Do the tests actually run on the cloud, like over the internet in a virtual network, or are they running on my machine where I'm seeing what is happening? For this version, again, it is going to run on the local machine. So we are coming up more with a very lean beta version team, and we're trying to set this up, get it started, and how we can try and provide it with the current features for free. And in terms of the prerequisite, what you need to be knowing before you take up NEOT, nothing much. I'll tell you why. Let's go. Any questions before I go forward, team? I'm going to give you a peek into it. It's still under development. Please note there'll be areas which is broken, not really completely stable, and so on. But at the same time, it's going to give you the idea of what is coming up and what will be the training for the whole of next week all about. So this is the main page. A user can sign up and they can start logging in. Once they log in to the application, they will come up with a dashboard which talks about overall what is it that we're doing in the application. Then there are 4 primary modules within a team: setting up an overall test platform, creating a run, which is getting the run test automation done ready, executing it, and test results. So 4 kind of blocks to a team. So in the test setup, what happens is the user starts with entering details about the application. Then they enter the various modules that could be associated with an application. So you try and break the whole functionality of an application's modules. Then we create test cases and link them with each module. So I say I take a module ID, then I get a chance to create a test case and add it. Then we create something called a test step. So which module, which test case are we talking about? And let's say this is step number 1. And what is it doing? Like open the browser. And there's some details about what a low-level keyword is, high-level keyword is. We select the option that we want. We say what do we provide in terms of element ID or test data. Then we can enter what we want. For example, we want to open it in Chrome. It should be able to do it, and so on. And then for each and every test case, we create steps. So exactly the same thing that we were trying to do at the Excel level, we are replicating that into a much more easier and user-friendly web UI frontend. Earlier, my code knew how to read that Excel and execute the tests in the application. So if I needed to add a new scenario, all I had to do is copy a few steps, put it down and say this is what we want to do, and the execution happens. Now the same thing, we're trying to put it into a much more controlled web front end. And then as part of the test setup, the beauty of the system comes in this reusable element. So I can create something called as an element map or a series of test data sets or high-level keywords that can be reused over and over again. And that is where the efficiency and the speed at which we can automate increases significantly. This is right now a single user version. So anyone across the globe can take this up and start working on it without much of a restriction. When it comes to the other three modules, we're still working, but the core was the test setup from a UI front-end perspective. But this is also functionally coming up. This is where the user gets to select which test cases they want to execute for a specific run, from which modules, or I can say that all the test cases in that, and I try and save that setup. And I'll say this is regression run on version 1.32. I don't want to put a date here, but I just want to save it. And we've still not implemented the whole thing. And it will start coming up that there are different runs that I select. On a different date, I might say I want to execute everything in one module and not the other. And then I create another one and save it. Then comes the actual test run. In this test run, we get to select which test we want to execute. That automatically picks up what we do and be able to follow the instruction to get the Windows app installed on your machine. And then the execution should start from there. And finally, all the results that get executed should come up in a pretty easy to see test result. And the test results will look something like this. Yeah, some screenshots. Yeah. So it will talk about at a high level how many tests were executed, how many passed, how many failed, where did it pass, where did it fail, and so on. So this application that we've been spending a lot of effort and time in building it. And what we're trying to do is certify people on this. So if you are an NEOT certified tester, that means you know a lot about test management. You may not be technically someone, but you know that using this tool without much automation knowledge, you can start running Selenium WebDriver tests. And if you are a NEOT certified developer, you know at a code level how this whole concept has been written. And if a client needs a much more customized framework to be created, you are there to do that. So this specific purpose that we're trying to offer, this NEOT certified tester training for free, is for two primary reasons. Where is this? One, we want people to look at it. We want users to look at it and work with it and give feedbacks as well to get it more accepted into the market. The second one is usage. We would like people to start using it in a real world. And how do we go about it? So to become an NEOT certified tester, what are the things that you need to do? One, you need to attend the free training. That is the number one thing. Second is you need to pass the certification test that we have prepared. Third is you need to implement any auth for any project. It could be as simple as 20 test cases. For example, let's say you're working for Bank of America, a very large financial organization. It's not easy for you to go and convince the entire QA department and say, you know what, let's try any auth. It's not going to be easy. But you're already working on something, let's say a few test cases and so on. You can try it out because it's a web front end, as long as it's accessible from your work. Create a few scenarios and then try and show it to your peers or your boss or your team lead and say that, hey, this is what I've done. And show the same thing to us, as not with the details, but as that you've implemented it, and then you become a certified tester with us. The reason we have to go through these 3 steps is when we certify someone, we want to make sure that we stand by and authenticate their skill. So this free training is for about 7 hours. What do you really get in this free training team? You'll understand the concept of the MS Excel team first. What we have done in the template. What does each and every field do? Why is it here? What is the logic here? How does the code work at the back end to really go through this, identify what to do and execute, and so on. You need to understand that concept very well. You need to understand the flow between the core framework and the MS Excel. By then, we should also be ready with most of the web UI, and you can comfortably navigate through the web front end. This is the reason we're offering this 7-hour training. All right. The whole point is not to put and create an elephant-sized application. It is to create something which is quick, fast, easy, and it still uses the power of what it is. It is not going to compete with the big guns in terms of a product in the outside domain and world. It's just for someone who's an end user to be able to quickly start using it. So that's about AnyAuth, and that's about the training. And we are starting the JPACT with, like I said, the stream B is starting with AnyAuth certified tester training, followed by Selenium basic plus advanced. So when you join the Selenium training after this free training, you will really be able to take advantage of it. Then we will go into AnyAuth certified developer training. And in these 5 weeks, you will master automation to the largest possible extent. That is my strong belief. Because AnyAuth is very open. It is taking the generic knowledge, and it is nothing proprietary in terms of we built a very different engine. It's just how we put things in a simple manner. Now, as we're doing this, we also would like to have some live projects along with it. Absolutely. There will be a live project for AnyAuth, and there will be a live project for Selenium, WebDriver, Code Java, and so on. The good thing is when you do live projects with us, or you do it at your workplace, you are able to take that and put it as part of your profile, and that will add brilliance. So today we're sitting towards end of Feb, and the schedule will take us to, let's say, first week of April. Just imagine getting the right skill, getting the right amount of knowledge and project experience, and putting it in a very, very strong manner in your profile, and then getting into the market. It will be phenomenal. The live projects team typically come from the different applications that we develop as part of Atomic 77. So there are pretty complex applications, very detailed, e-commerce, CRM, workflows, shopping carts, there are membership portals. We've got so many applications that keep coming into our shop and we need to test them. And once you're part of that team, you are actually working on a project. So for example, there are 2 or 3 participants from our Atomic Sensation employees who are coordinating with some of our students, and they're constantly working on these testing activities. So this whole training is to make you a master at how a typical hybrid automation test framework works and how you can easily navigate through any of. But again, team, just because it is free, I don't want people to come and join for 1 day, 2 days, and then, take it easy, or, what a lot of times I believe that when we don't be serious and really involved into something, it's tough. It's like, I open up a free gym. Guys, come for the free gym and go for it. What we're trying to do, and in an online world, it's very tough for us to see. Are you listening? Are you hearing to us? Are you working with us? And so on. So to start with this training, there is absolutely no technical skill needed whatsoever for any certified tester. I don't even need you to know IT at all. It doesn't even require you to understand anything to do with, programming or so. Just basic knowledge of MS Office is more than sufficient to get started. All right, team. So that's about what I wanted to talk today and present to you. And I believe that this free training will really help you all, to most of you, and I hope that you'll take the benefit of it. Ready to take questions now. All right, let's see, team. Some questions are coming in. Thank you so much for the feedback. So first of all, team, I would love to have a feedback from you. What do you think? Does it look odd? Does it look make some sense? Does it look something that you may look forward to hopefully using it? Give me some feedback also about this application that we've kind of built together. Is core Java programming needed to use NEOT? To be an NEOT certified tester, you don't need any programming language. Or will this JPACT2 work for me? I mean, JPACT2 is starting with MS Office, I'm saying, in terms of prerequisite. So whatever you need, we will teach you, team. You're trying to be here for automation testing and so on. You're not trying to become developers. So what is needed for you is there part of this program. Let's see. NEOT sounds like a very cool product. Thank you. Karthik, the stepping stone success. Thank you. Modern UI. Thank you. I understand this correct. Can I create automated test cases without actually coding? Exactly, Romy. That's the whole point. You just write it out here in the web front end and you run them from the web front end. That will get integrated with our Windows desktop, and the tests are running on various multiple browsers automatically. NEOT is a framework. It basically uses the typical automation testing framework, and then it builds on from there. What is the schedule of NEOT training? So it is going to be 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time for about 1 week, 2 days, 3 days, something like that, 5 to 7 days. The only thing is I may want you to do some practice work in between the training. So that is something as well. I would talk about. There is only one thing that even my team is not aware that came up today, team, is I'm going to be attending a conference in San Francisco next week for about 2 to 3 days. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish most part of that event in the morning and be free for the training in the evening. If not, I'll coordinate, I'll schedule, I will work with you on that. Thank you, Sam, for the feedback. Class will start from Monday. Monday will be the first class and it will go on from there. I'm logged in from India, so I would like to know the timings of training here. Just answer. Let's see. We use another tool in a company called Qualify, and that also claims that we can do automation without coding. Not sure whether you both are competitors. Romy, honestly, there are so many competitors in this market. There are so many tools. But one of the ones which kind of inspired us was Robot Framework. It was very powerful. And we wanted to really look at how we can make it a little bit more simpler, because while it's extremely powerful, it does it, still had a very steep learning curve to learn and use it. NYOT's current version is not feasible for mobile applications. Next version, because we can easily integrate it with APM. It is going to be a live training, online live training team. All right. So team, further questions, feel free to put it in the event. Hopefully once we start, we'll start putting everything into the event. And once you believe that this is the right training for you, which is a free training, then commit yourself and join. Come with full enthusiasm, come with complete intent to learn, and we'll go through it from there. All right. There's still questions coming in, and the problem is I cannot copy this and put it. Let me see. I'll take 2 or 3 more questions, team, and then close this. Is it going to be a live class? I answered that. So what I understand is NYOT uses hybrid framework. So what is NYOT? To be able to give a 100% answer, you need to attend the 7 hours training team, the product training, because if you want to be certified, it's not going to be 7 hours, it's going to be more 3 to 4 hours, but I want you to spend some time practicing in front of me and showing it to me as to what's happening, okay? Which tool is in demand right now in major corporations? I think Selenium, yeah, definitely is doing, and APM also is doing well for mobile app testing. Which whole course of JPACT is live training? The ones that you've shown in the schedule are the ones which are live training. NYOT seems like a bridge between manual and automation. Absolutely, yes, team. That's very well put. Because we're looking to build this, how quickly can we take our manual to automation with very little technical ability. In fact, if you look at even Selenium IDE does it, but there are a lot of things with Selenium IDE does not do. It does not do cross-browser. It does not do anything in terms of test data or element map management and so on. All right. And I'll also put the event batch here. Thank you all. Thank you so much for attending today's session. We'll see you on Monday and we'll take it forward from there. Okay. I'm putting a few links here that you can take. Take care, everyone. Bye now. Take care all. Bye.